Hey there everybody, happy Burnaby Pride. I'm really excited to be here talking to you today about books. Now I've only got about 15 minutes, so I'm going to get right into it, but I hope you enjoy hearing about some of these fantastic novels and picture books that I have picked out, and of course at the very end I will give you some contact info, so if you want to talk about more and different books, you can feel free. So let's get started. The first book I want to tell you about is called Felix Ever After by Kaysen Callender. So Felix is 17 years old, he's black, queer, and trans. He's had a really tough start to the new semester at art school, he's feeling neglected by his best friend, and he's being targeted by a transphobic bully. This bully has dead-named him and posted old photos from his childhood in the school lobby for everyone to see. While he's busy trying to get revenge though, he starts to wonder if he's really comfortable identifying as a boy, searching instead for a label that better suits him, in this case, demi-boy. With each passing day, Felix makes new discoveries about himself and the people closest to him, as well as one or two he never thought he'd ever get close to. The novel features a cast of queer, trans, and racially diverse individuals, reflecting the realities of many who work to build a supportive chosen family. From its stunning cover art to the rich, messy, nuanced narrative at its heart, this is an unforgettable story of friendship, heartbreak, forgiveness, and self-discovery. So the next book I want to talk to you about is called Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas. So Yadriel lives with his family and his Brooks community in a cemetery in East LA, tending to the spirits of their ancestors, but he's unhappy and frustrated. Part of a very traditional Latinx community, his father doesn't want him to take part in the quince ceremony to become a full-fledged brujo, just because he's trans. One evening, though, with the help of his friend Maritza, he calls on Lady Death to bestow her blessing on him, providing the powers necessary to release spirits into the afterlife. Just as he finishes the rites, the whole community feels the loss of one of their own, Yadriel's cousin Miguel. When Yadriel tries to find Miguel's spirit and its tether to the world, he instead summons an infuriating yet alluring young man named Julian, who has died under mysterious circumstances, and who won't let his tether be severed until he can check in on his chosen family. Navigating terrifyingly real obstacles, Yadriel, Maritza, and Julian chase leads to find out how Julian died, including whether or not his disappearance is linked to Miguel's. Aidan Thomas's debut novel can't help but charm and captivate readers of all ages, though teen readers will invariably identify with and appreciate the hijinks and emotional vulnerability that make each character and scenario deliciously enchanting. So now I'm going to tell you about a couple of middle grade novels that I really enjoy. And by middle grade, I just mean that space between children's picture books and teen novels. So let's get started with those. The Best at It by Maulik Pancholi. Rahul, an Indian-American boy in a small Indiana town, finds 7th grade unsettling. His longtime best friend Chelsea suddenly blushes and stammers around a friendly 8th grader, and Brent, a bully, repeatedly makes disconcerting innuendos about Rahul having a crush on a boy he admires. Taking his grandfather's advice to choose one thing and excel in it, Rahul almost breaks his leg at football tryouts and meets racial prejudice at an acting audition, all before reluctantly joining the mathletes team, where he works hard and excels. As his inner tension builds, he begins to check and double-check locks and the stove. After talking with a therapist, he thinks through his worries, confronts his nemesis, and finds that his friends are fully with him. Near the story's end, Rahul comes out as gay to his supportive parents. In this first novel, actor Pancholi creates a number of vivid characters, including Rahul, his grandfather, and his best friend, who counters his reluctance to join the nerdy mathletes with, "Rah, we are nerds, that's what makes us fun." More broadly, the author depicts Rahul's parents' friends as forming an unusually strong community of belonging for the whole family. An impressive first novel, well-paced, sometimes amusing, but always wholly engaging. Hurricane Season by Nicole Melleby. Fig knows her teacher meant well by calling Child Protective Services the day Fig's father pulled her out of class, but all it did was make everything worse. It's been just the two of them since Fig was born, and she knows how to deal with his wild mood swings. But can she convince a caseworker that things are okay? Fig adds their CPS appointment to the calendar, where she counts down the days until hurricane season is over, because her father, a once famous composer, is drawn to the music of storms, and not even Fig can reach him when they lure him down to the beach. In an effort to better understand him, she pours herself into an art project on Vincent van Gogh, finding parallels between her father's genius and erratic behavior and the painter's. Mellaby's debut examines the complexities of having a parent with a mental illness and the responsibilities that kids sometimes must shoulder. Themes of trust and LGBTQ romance are incorporated into this weighty but hopeful story. 10-year-old George has a secret. Everyone thinks she's a boy, but inside she knows that she's really a girl named Melissa. When her 4th grade class prepares to mount a dramatic production of Charlotte's Web, George knows that more than anything in the world, she wants to play the part of Charlotte. After all, who cares if she plays a girl's part? Hasn't her best friend Kelly told her that in Shakespeare time men played all the parts, even those of girls and women? But things aren't that simple, not even when George summons the courage to dramatically show her single-parent mom the truth. Gino's debut novel is a sensitive, insightful portrayal of a transgender child coming to terms with a gender identity. George is an appealing, thoroughly believable character, and her best friend Kelly adds humor and zest to this gentle story. Gino does an excellent job introducing factual information into the narrative without impinging upon the accessible and appealing story. Last up, here are a couple of picture books I really want to share with you. My Mummy, My Mama, My Brother, and Me by Natalie Meisner, illustrated by Mathilde Cinq-Mars. What child doesn't love a family outing to the beach to search for treasures left in the sand? Okay, I'm sure there are some out there, but for these two brothers, anytime the fog disappears and the sun comes out, they love to head to the waterfront with their moms in search of new and exciting discoveries. Every few pages, readers are presented with specific items and accompanying terms, along with the repeated stanza, and these are the things we find by the sea. My mummy, my mama, my brother, and me. As the family walks the beaches, readers are presented with breezy panoramas featuring the family holding onto their hats, hair, and scarves flowing in the breeze, reeds waving and bending along the coastline, and seagulls floating on the coastal winds. My Mummy, My Mama, My Brother, and Me is truly a lovely picture book that will inform and delight both adults and children. When Aiden Became a Brother by Kyle Lukoff, illustrated by Kailani Juanita. Aiden really dislikes his girl's clothes and pink bedroom. When he tells his parents that he's a boy, they lovingly rectify their errors. Upon renaming himself, Aiden gleefully explores ways of being a boy. Then he learns that his mom is pregnant, and he immediately becomes concerned that he might not be a good big brother. Since he doesn't know if the baby will be a boy or a girl, he searches for names that would fit either, and he's upset when people ask if he's excited by the prospect of a new brother or sister, steadfastly announcing he is simply excited to be a big brother. Though he knows he might make some mistakes, he understands that the most important thing is that he simply loves his new sibling. And so, when the baby's born, he does. A trans man himself, Lukoff writes this with authority and a loving spirit. Juanita's cheerful digital illustrations are a nicely harmonious match with the text, expanding it in meaningful ways. Together, the text and pictures create a heartfelt celebration of love that will be an ideal selection for trans children and for any who are expecting a new sibling. Morris Micklewhite in the Tangerine Dress by Christine Baldacchino, illustrated by Isabelle Malenfant. Morris likes to do a lot of things at school. Paint, do puzzles, drink apple juice, and sing. Most of all, he likes to wear a tangerine dress from the dress-up center. He likes the color, the swishing noises the dress makes when he walks, and the crinkle, crinkle, crinkle when he sits down. Sometimes the boys and girls make fun of him and ostracize him, refusing to sit with him or let him ride in their spaceship. When Morris draws a picture of a safari adventure and shares it at school, Eli and Henry still won't let him on their spaceship. So Morris builds his own and hangs his painting on the front of it. Intrigued, the boys follow Morris to a planet they had never visited before, and decide that it doesn't make any difference if astronauts wear dresses. Baldacchino's gentle story sensitively depicts gender non-conforming children, offering them reassurance and, one hopes, acceptance. Well, that's it. Thanks so much for listening. Happy reading and a happy, happy Pride.